I'm ChosenArchitect, and this is All the Mods 10 Aeronautics. So I have sailed and I have finally made it to my destination, where I can now call this place home. Well, kind of call it home, because this is technically home at the moment, but we have a lot of work to do in order to transfer this into an actual home. And the first way to do that is by working on storage. Now, there's a lot of storage options at the start of this pack, and we have many major storage options. For example, we have refined storage and also applied energistics in this pack. And combined with that, we also have tons of other storage extension mods, for example, like sophisticated storage and also functional storage. And we even have some minor storage mods. For example, we have like Ars Nouveau, which gives you access to storage pretty early game, and also, well, RF Tools storage, which also gives you access to storage. Not exactly early game, but I have come to the conclusion, if I want to get into any of the quote-unquote good storage mods, well, I'm going to need to gain access to the Nether in some way, because all of the methods are going to at some point require quartz. Well, except for the storage lectern, you're still my beloved. But just to change things up, since I've used the Ars lectern as of recently, I am going to be dabbling into a multi-level storage system. And I'm really going to be throwing it back, as we are going to be using refined storage, at least to get started, because eventually I will want to transfer everything over to applied energistics, but it is going to take a bit more time to get into that mod. We'll tell you that refined, though, is probably one of the easiest mods to get set up and get into. However, you will need a source of external power, which we're also going to solve today. Now, here's a question. Which one do you prefer, refined storage or applied energistics? And maybe let me know why down in the comments. First thing I want to do is take the fortune book that I got right from the start, and I want to apply it to my pickaxe here. It's going to cost a little bit of levels, but man, this pickaxe is going to be so good. The only downside is we just don't have fortune on it. Sorry, not fortune, efficiency. And I'm really going to want this fortune because we want to gather as much quartz as possible. So to get started in here, I am just going to go ahead and create a portal to the Nether, and we found all of this obsidian just laying around, so that was kind of nice. And so we'll have access to getting into this dimension quite quickly. Just gotta lay in the portal frame, just good old-fashioned vanilla basics. And then, well, we're going to make the leap. Thankfully I have some waystones, but wish me luck on the other side. And there we are in the Nether, and I have to say, out of all the spawns we could have gotten, this one is not the worst. It is pretty much enclosed, which is exactly what I would want from a Nether spawn. Now, as much as I would love to go exploring the vastness of the Nether and getting myself blaze rods and all kinds of other fun stuff, the primary thing that I really want from this area is just the quartz. So if I can get the quartz with minimal harm done to me, I think I'd come out of here a winner. However, on the minimap, it does look like there is a fortress nearby, and this would be a really good place, at least getting it near, placing a waystone near all that. And wow, I almost forgot that we have regions unexplored in here, which makes the Nether just absolutely crazy looking. I do need to be careful, however. Thankfully, we do have the slime boots, so we're able to bounce around and so on and so forth. But these guys can still attack me quite easily. I can get out of their way, though, because of the bunny boots. Ah, that is nice. Look at that. I'm just going to continue my merry way until I potentially see a fortress, which it looked like there was one over here on the map. Oh boy, but this is not what I thought it was going to be. I mean, don't get me wrong, that is a fortress. And there's a blaze spawner, but there's also wither skeletons all nearby. Thankfully, this is a way to get over here. So you know what? I might actually just set my waystone right here. And we'll call it Nether, so we can get rid of that ugly Nether portal that is now in our docking area. Just now running around, trying my best to grab as much quartz as possible without taking any damage. And I think I'm doing a pretty good job so far. It's just, man, all these hogs are after me. Oh, and hey, look, a regular waystone. I'm just going to nab that one. So after getting all of that mined up, what I can do now is actually make some special tools that are going to be from all the mods. And this is going to be a hammer. So this is going to be an early game way for us to technically duplicate ore. So we can take 1 raw copper and turn it into 2, and we've essentially doubled our ore output, which is exactly what I need because, well, we need to start cooking some things down. And I technically can have this because the blast furnace is very fast as well. Now, I did mention that I'm going to have sort of a split storage. Now, I am going to start with refined storage, and we are going to need a controller and external storage and all of this, but we're technically going to combine this with sophisticated storage. And then I'm also going to be doing a little bit of a sneaky bit to be able to get access to our storage cross-dimensionally and at anywhere in the world. And we're technically not going to be using refined storage to do that, if you believe me. I guess you can call this storage hacking 101. Before I get carried away, let's go back down into our mining area and actually take a dive underground. We need to get all the way down to bedrock because to be able to get the power generator that I want to make to kind of get us started, well, we're going to need access to said bedrock. So I don't know if I should YOLO it or not, but I'm going to. Straight down we go. And I'm going to try my best to fend these guys off. I think, though, we should be somewhat fine. I should be able to run around. There's nothing that's going to bother me, right? I mean, besides a creeper just falling right on my head. What's the chances of that happening? Yeah, it's probably slim, right? But I do want to get down here. This just takes us down to like Y level 0. You can see the transition here. But what I really need is like all the way down to the bottom of the world. Also, by the way, there is Skulk with, yes, my theory from last episode is probably correct, that underneath this mountain there's gotta be an ancient city, which is fantastic because that's part of the progression in all the mods packs. So that'll be very nice. Just as I was hoping, the mine does get much deeper. Oh, that is not what I wanted. That is a fast skeleton. What was that? Yes, I mean, I can't really do anything against range combat. I don't even have range combat myself, so I am just barely getting by at the moment. Okay, baby zombie. I think we should be fine, though. We'll just continue on. There are more diamonds. 2 baby zombies now. Okay. Yep, that's not what I was hoping for. How are they reaching me? They're hitting me from so high up. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna take care of these. With those guys gone, we can mine some actual diamond here. Look at that. I think this spot right here is gonna be the perfect spot for the mine's waystone. So we'll just say that's our mine. And now I can go ahead from here, start working on a way to get all the way down. And thankfully we do have a couple of things that can help us. For example, we have this mining tunnel, which we can use to build like the perfect mine straight down, which is exactly what we need. And perfect. This is exactly where we need to be. We can go ahead and do a shapeless mine. And there is all of the bedrock. And the reason I need this is to light it on fire. Yes, because we are starting a little bit of Ender IO today. And this is what we need to do to start it. As soon as the fires actually go out, we should see some popping that happens. And we are going to be collecting a very specific material that we're going to need. Or at least there's a chance. And there it goes. Grains of Infinity. Yes, it kind of sounds like popcorn going off. Yeah, it's very nice. Very nice sound. I love it. Now that I'm back, this is going to be used to make a void chassis. And the void chassis is the fundamental buildings for all of our Ender IO machines, which eventually we're going to make all of them. But as of right now, the one I want to make is going to be a Sterling generator. Looks like we do need to smelt some deep slate. And there we go. Sterling generator is now up and running. Now, I do have tons of coal to be able to fuel this, but the thing that's going to work really nicely is the fact that we have some special capacitors. So we don't even have to worry about really crafting any capacitors. This is just going to work. I think this is going to be the good one. This has energy capacity modifiers, which means it should have a larger buffer when we actually start to generate power with it. So let's see how this bad boy runs. By default, we can place this in here and we can see this is going to have an efficiency of 220%. Man, just with coal, which we have unlimited amounts of, by the way, generating 160, from what it appears, 162 power per tick, what you will, like RF, we can call it whatever, but like Forge Energy, it's got a ton of different names. But yes, Forge Energy is usually what it is referred to as of now. RF per tick is also what everybody calls it. So let's go ahead and throw some charcoal in here, and this is going to start generating some power. I don't know if this accepts lava buckets or not, but it looks like it's going to last quite a while off of some regular charcoal. I mean, this is not burning very fast at all, and we've already generated 50,000 RF. So with power solved, we can now actually craft, well, the storages. And those storages are going to be spruce chests from sophisticated storage. I want to go with this spruce theme, and so to do this, some levers in the center, and we can make a bunch of these sophisticated chests, which give us the ability to not only be bound to a central network from within the mod itself, but also the ability to upgrade the storage capacity. As these right here are not your grandpa's regular Minecraft chests. No. These are very, very special chests. By default, they just have a normal, regular double chest inventory, but with one simple upgrade, by applying 2 of these to the chest, we can upgrade it to an iron tier. And it got significantly bigger. And we can keep upgrading these too, by the way, providing us a really, really convenient, very, very large early storage system. And the reason it's convenient is because these storages can be picked up. All you have to do is just package them up. And if we want to move this system, it is very easy to do so. So perfect. We now have power and we have some storage chests, but now is time, I think, to get into refined storage. We needed power first before doing this. So now that we have that, we can technically get this all up and running. And the production of silicon that is required for this is going to be a little bit of an upset here because we do need to make quartz blends, which means we need crushed quartz. And the best way, I think, because of the infrastructure we already have to do that is going to be a sag mill. So I'm going to go ahead and just craft up a sag mill, and we can use one of our fancy new upgrades over here in order to make this process a little bit faster. This is a nice, hot, impossible capacitor. Very good. That is a really good modifier on that. For now, I'll place this directly in front. We'll place that capacitor. It's going to transfer that power almost instantaneously here. And we just need to process this. And look how fast it is with that upgrade in here. Now, this is definitely not going to keep up with the power, but I mean, for just getting us that burst of quartz, this is good. We can combine this up with some quartz blend, and that is quite a lot that we can now make. I'll just toss that in here to be smelted. Really, for this whole system to work, by the way, we just need 2 advanced processors from refined storage. And then we're also going to need, I believe, 2 iron processors and also 1 of the raw improved processors. And I think that means that we can get by with just 1 slime ball for creating this small little system. This is also one of the reasons why I had to go through and get a bunch of quartz, because this mod does use quite a bit of quartz in its recipes. Like, for example, making all of this enriched iron. And then we also need to use it for making cabling, which is going to be quartz enriched copper. Now, another Ender IO machine I decided to make is the alloy smelter. And this also has the ability to smelt, but also alloy things. And it's incredibly fast and can smelt up to 3 items per process. And with these nice capacitors, oh boy. And don't even get me started on Ender IO in this pack, because we now have all the Modium upgrades for Ender IO machines. I mean, just take a look at these beautiful things right here. Yep. So now the controller is just about ready to be made. I think that is everything, and we now have a refined storage controller. And by the way, for this setup, I might have miscalculated, and yes, we actually do need at least 2 slime for this. That's because I forgot about the cores that are required in the grid itself. The craziest part about setting up this entire storage system is just simply crafting all of the components for said storage system. Now, besides the controller and crafting grid, the main thing we need after that is just an external storage. And so here's kind of how this is going to work. And we're probably gonna have to arrange this a little bit, but we have the controller, and anything that is connected to it is considered part of the network. There is no channels or anything fancy with refined storage. It is just whatever is connected is going to cost some power. Unfortunately, in this version, it's really hard to see how much everything is costing you power-wise, but really, we don't have to worry too much. This should be able to more than easily keep up with the power draw. Now, I did make this external storage, and I have a reason for that, and this is where we move into the next part of sophisticated storage. So let's craft the things that actually allow us to link all of those chests together to act kind of as one central chest. This is done via the storage controller. Now, you could just connect all of the chests up to this storage controller, and then that would act as one vast network so long as all of the chests are touching each other. However, I want to wirelessly link them up to 16 blocks away, and to do this, I can use the storage tool. Back over in my refined storage section, I do want to place a cable up so I have some room. And then what I want to do is right on top of this, I'm going to place in the storage controller. Now, believe me, I have a plan for how this is all going to work and fit together. Trust me. We do need to break this cable, and now we're going to replace it with an external storage, which is going to be attached to the storage controller. But right now, we haven't told the storage controller where any of our storages are. And so to do that, we'll shift right click with our storage tool, and then we just start right clicking to add. And the order we add is going to be the order of priority. And so we'll make sure to get all of these chests added, and that is basically it. The refined storage is now set up, and we can actually start putting items in to our external storages. Now, here's where you may be wondering, Chosen, why are you not just using digital storages and just making 1Ks and filling them all up? Well, that's because I want to be able to access these also wirelessly. And refined storage makes that very expensive for some reason. See, to get wireless access, we would need to make a wireless grid, but unfortunately, the wireless transmitter that you would have to place in order to get access to it, well, only goes up to like 48 block range. And it definitely doesn't cover the world, let alone go cross-dimensional. And to even go cross-dimensional, you would have to use a network transmitter and receiver. There is, however, an add-on in here that you can set up like cross-dimensional, but it is very expensive on power and also the recipe. Just as a reference, the interdimensional wireless transmitter. Yes, 4 nether stars, 4 transmitters, and then yes, this one would work cross-dimensionally and all of that fun stuff. But if I remember correctly, it's going to cost well into the either 1,000 RF per tick just to passively run it, or 4,000 or even 8,000 RF per tick to passively run it. It just depends on how it's configured. So I want this sort of open and exposed, which is essentially what this controller is doing at the moment. It is open and exposed, meaning we can throw all of our items now in here, and it's not being stored inside of refined storage, it's being stored inside of sophisticated storage chests. And this makes interfacing with our storage much, much easier, and potentially changing to other storage solutions in the future much, much easier. I mean, shoot, if we even wanted to, we can interface directly up to this storage controller with create, and we can use stock tickers and anything like that directly on the block. Okay, I'm getting carried away. I need to get all of my inventory essentially moved now into this storage system off of my ship. And this is going to make crafting everything else we need to craft so much easier. Now with this storage though, I am incredibly excited because this just opens up and makes things so much faster for me to start really progressing in the pack. So everything is now moved over, but this is where things get really, really interesting. See, I want cross-dimensional access to my storage items here. I just want to be able to pull items in or put items into this storage, and with the potential to craft some things here and there. But like I said before, doing it with refined storage is not only expensive on power, but it is also going to, yeah, it's going to be very expensive as far as resources go. So what I now get to do, and you can see how easy this makes crafting, by the way, is I can now start to craft up all of the individual components, and I want to utilize an RF Tools storage scanner. Yes, an RF Tools storage scanner, which on its own also does work, by the way, as a nice little storage interface that works very much like this. I will say though that it does have its jankiness, and that's why you wouldn't probably want to use it as a primary storage solution for very long. Now, this does need power, which it is going to receive from the generator also, but it doesn't even use a whole lot of power at all. Now, we do need to make sure its scan radius is far enough to be able to reach this, and whenever we increase this scan radius, we can now start to see some inventories. And I'll continue to scan until I see this block. And we don't want to keep scanning any further than that, because the more we do, the more power overall it's going to cost. So let's see, if we set this to 4 blocks, is that going to be enough to see it? It is. So what we need to do is basically set this to routable. This one controller, that's the only thing that needs to be set. And then I believe we can change this mode to only be able to see the chests that are routable. And I think you can also go through here and you can remove inventories so you don't see them. So you can see right here, this says remove. And so I can click on these and I can just remove all of these inventories that are available besides the one that we really want access to. So I've got the top one selected and I'm just going to keep going down and down and down until all of those inventories, those pesky inventories, are removed. And we just have the single one here. So like I said, this is another really nice storage. You can see all of the items that are inside of the chest, and you can also search down here. So we can say logs, and all of that gets searched up. We can sort by amount, which usually you just want to sort by amount. I do like having those in the top. So we'll say amount minus. And so we can see what we have the most. You can even craft and save recipes over here. But this is not what I'm super excited about. I'm excited about being able to link a tablet to this. And that's because McJetty has blessed us with the beautiful tablet right here that doesn't require all that much in order to make. Just a few blocks of redstone, and we can combine this together for a tablet. And then the module that makes this work is a storage module. So just a couple of crafts here, and we are ready to go. So to make this work, we take our storage screen module and shift right click onto the storage scanner to bind it. Now that it is bound, we can shift right click on the tablet and place this inside of its slot. And now we have a power-free, or at least power-free here, access to that same block. And yes, this should even work cross-dimensionally. The only thing that I do recommend doing is making sure that you go into your FTP chunk settings and just make sure that this is chunk loaded. And you can do that by selecting, by left clicking, and then holding down shift to be able to force load the chunks. And by the way, just to show how this works and that we should be able to access it, if I go to the Nether, which we are now here, if I open this up, I can access my items. I can pull them out and I can send them back in. This is exactly what we want to see. And with this setup, mining is now going to be so much easier, because when I want to send items back to my storage, I can just send it back to my storage and empty all of it, or store it in my backpack, whichever one seems fitting at the time. So with my storage solution basically solved for early game, I can now do the thing you've probably wanted to see me do, and that is accept all of my quest rewards. And yes, there's going to be a lot of items that get spewed all over the place when I do this, but I'm going to claim all. Oh boy. There's a lot of items on the ground. And taking a look here, we got frog lights, there's chisels, there's all kinds of different stuff, a bunch of different dyes, some books. Oh my goodness, chess piece, micro missiles, more source gems. This is also completing even more. Block of steel. I'll take that. A nature's compass. Ooh, that actually needs to go in our bag. That'll help us find biomes. And more grains of infinity, arcane crystals. There's so much stuff that we're getting from this. And like even more quests, like I said, are completing. More bonus item pipes, more iron, redstone, carts, create goodies. Oh my. It keeps going. How much did I get? Oh my. Okay. Vibrant alloy from Ender.io. We are being gifted with so many nice things. A diamond hammer after making the iron hammer from Modern Industrialization is so nice. All of this stuff. And did I just see something? Did we just get from Ender.io? If we do we can search it. I just got grinding balls. That's kind of nice also. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. Grinding balls, by the way, are used in the sag mill. And whenever we start to like break down ores and stuff, we can get bonuses from our raw ore. So something like zinc, for example, if I put this in here, we should get some bonus outputs. You can see the main output, we get a bonus 160. And then we also have a chance of getting extra outputs, just like this, the aluminum. Now there is still one more thing I want to do, and that, after collecting all of those items, is change our grid to a different color. And we can just click dyes on here and dye our grids and our controller whatever color we want to match the systems and things that we have around, making decoration a must with refined storage. It's so good. Like I said, this is merely the start of our storage system. And I think using refined is a great method for interfacing early game. It's fairly cheap to get into, and it is a lot less of a headache than applied energistics to start. However, down the road, like I mentioned, I will probably want to get into applied energistics, because even though refined storage is fairly capable now in its refined storage 2 variant, it is still going to be, I think, more worthwhile to be playing around with AE down the road. And I've just got to give it to Applied Energistics interfaces. I mean, it just makes automating so much simpler. You place the interface down, it can receive the product back into itself. And then we also have advanced AE and many other things that you just don't have with Refine. So while Refine is great early game, eventually you will want to upgrade, because I will say at this point, AE2 with all of its add-ons, far superior. But you know what? I'll leave that up to you to debate in the comments section below. Now, speaking of decorating, I think, I could definitely make this area look a little bit nicer. And so I'm going to get all of these walls decorated in. And to help me with this process, all construction sticks. Yes, there is actually a key bind that you can bind to be able to open up this configuration menu, in which I want to set this to a very special mode, random. So what I should be able to do is say match any set to random, and I can randomize the placeable blocks that are inside of my hotbar, which means that at the moment, and also if I set this to restriction mode left right, we can just simply click like this, and it's going to shuffle through the blocks that are in my hotbar in the particular orientation that I have them set in. For example, it's going to distribute the way that I have them listed. And it makes setting up paths so much easier like this. Now remember, I have a theme for the build overall. For right now, this will just be a nice little hidey hole area, and I'll add in some spruce fencing into the back. I definitely want to get rid of the diorite that's lingering around. I mean, overall, not half bad looking. This whole area divided up here. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Now to put our storage as a whole in perspective, as you can see, this chest is now filled, this one's almost filled, this one's filled, and this one is filled, but we really haven't touched any other storage just yet. So yes, this does go a long way. Now, if I did want to upgrade a couple of these, what I could do is these upper ones, we can convert them to gold and just look at how much more storage they get. It's almost like another iron chest worth. I mean, that's just going to gold. And now we also never have to worry about getting locked out of our storage too, because of the way the Stirling generator is going to function and the way our storage is set up. We can always open this up and find our charcoal. And then this is always generating charcoal. So even if we did run out, we can make sure to restore some in here. And then what I'll do is configure the Ender IO, plop this down, and I'm going to set this to pull. And so it's going to pull from this barrel. And so anytime we have charcoal inside of this bottom barrel, well, it's going to make sure to keep this nice and stocked. But if power is your big concern, another thing we could do is switch this to redstone high mode. And then we can give this a redstone signal whenever we want it to actively function. So that means if we go on a trip and we don't want this running and we're afraid we're going to eventually run out of power, meaning we would lose access in the back, well, we can just turn this off. And thankfully, this should build up, and notice the scanner doesn't actively just pass, like it doesn't actively drain power unless you are using it, which would allow our Stirling generator to shut off. But I mean, can you believe this? We've essentially gone from ship storage, where we can now access wherever we're at, to home storage. Oh, this is good. And we still have storage on this ship too. Like if we want to stop anywhere and we want to grab things out, like we have places to put things. We're still going to use this to travel around. The problem is getting this back home after traveling. Yeah, well, that's, I think, going to be a problem for another day. Because today, I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and hopefully you'll learn something new, whether it was about storage or what have you. And if you did enjoy today's episode, be sure to click that subscribe button if you haven't already. And give this video, guys, a huge thumbs up. And I really hope that my storage solution here leads you down a path of success during your playthrough. And now, without further ado, it's time for me to thank the amazing supporter of today's episode. And that amazing thanks is going to go out to Blank. Thank you so much for your amazing support and choosing to support me over in the Discord by becoming a Discord premium member and just supporting my content in one of the best ways possible. Thank you so very much. And guys, I look forward to seeing you all in the next episode. And as always, thanks for watching.